Hello and welcome to a jerry-rigged, celebratory, painful episode of the Gem City Gridiron Roundup podcast. As always, I am your host, Dalton Van Pelt Scotch on the sidelines. With me, I have a very perturbed commissioner in a lovely setting, I must say.
Yeah, very perturbed, but for numerous reasons. Obviously, this weekend was just a crapshoot, but I could not log on to anything on my computer. We tried to jerry rig a few things, Facebook Live, um, Zoom on my computer. I couldn't log into anything, but here we are. I am on my phone on Zoom, so hopefully we can make this short and sweet because Dalton had to log in, so we have a little time constraint.
All right. How long do we have?
40 minutes.
Oh, that's it?
That's it.
Okay,
but
cool.
we could do two parts if we needed to, but
no, we can squeeze it in.
Yeah.
How about we just do highlights of the IRL football, the stuff that does matter, and the stuff that have fantasy implications, and then we can move on to the matchups that mattered, and a preview of the only two games that matter, and then the bets. How's that sound?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Firing it off first. The Zach Wilson era is over.
I told you that a while ago. Mike White hot, baby. Mike White
hot. He will be back. Yeah. He is coming off of fractured ribs, I believe, and the determination has been he will play the next 2 weeks, and that will determine whether or not he gets a shot at the starting gig next year. The Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence is, speaking of hot, he is on fire.
He is. Jaguars they're cooking right now. We talked about them last week, how excited they are on offense. Their defense is playing fantastic right now. So that should be fun to watch down the stretch. They may end up taking that division overall. I believe it comes down to their Week 18 game against the Titans. It doesn't matter what happens this weekend. It all comes down to next week for that division.
Lions lose a game they really should not have. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. The Panthers ran all over them. Sam Darnold actually looks like he can operate an offense, which is a healthy surprise for that team. Anything else to add on that?
No, they just gashed them, and then the Lions couldn't move the ball at all. They couldn't. I mean, Carolina's historic, like this year, just a terrible run defense, and they could not get the ball running. They got down very quickly. So it's just a huge game. I mean, Foreman had 100 yards. Chuba Hubbard had quite a bit of yards. Blackshear gets in the end zone. Darnold gets in the end zone for a rushing touchdown. So they just gashed them all day.
The Bills take care of business in a game that was wholly unwatchable unless you're a Bills fan. Josh Allen torches him on the ground. So does Devin Singletary. So does James Cook. They basically just ran the ball the whole time because that's all they needed to do.
Yeah, they're looking forward to the playoffs. They're trying to get everyone's feet wet. James Cook's looking good. They're getting Cole Beasley back in the mix, and Naheem Hines is starting to get a little bit more playing time. So we'll see what they look like down the stretch. Obviously, they have Super Bowl aspirations, so we'll see how that comes to fruition. And just in the next few weeks, they have not wrapped up the number 1 seed. They're still, I believe, tied with the Chiefs. So that's going to be coming down to the very end of the season.
The New Orleans Saints eliminate the Cleveland Browns from playoff contention. I do believe that is the case. And Deshaun Watson still looks like a ball of rust. I don't know if it's the Le'Veon Bell effect or he's just got so much off the field stuff going on, but he is a shell of himself.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of this stuff. Which trade was worse? The Deshaun Watson trade or the Russell Wilson trade? Because they're both looking pretty bad. Yeah, Russell Wilson, I still think by a fair margin. But they're both trades do not look very good right now. So we'll see how it goes next year. Obviously, the coach is staying in place in Cleveland. Obviously, everyone's heard by now that Nathaniel Hackett got fired, as rightly so.
It'll be interesting to see what that does for the Broncos offense.
Not a lot. We'll see.
I think they need to pound the rock. At least my fantasy team thinks so.
That is very true. Yeah, Latavius Murray. Davis Murray.
His day was saved by a 2-point conversion. Kansas
Like
City.
it mattered.
Yeah. Kansas City Chiefs 24, Seahawks 10. The Seahawks are reeling. They are no longer hot. They have quite a few injuries they're dealing with, and Pat Mahomes gets a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, Chiefs are doing Chiefs things again. That's coming down to that final week to claim that number one seed and get home field advantage. Um, yeah, Chiefs are trying to fire on all cylinders, trying to get everyone involved as well. Kadarius Toney made an appearance back. He did catch his only catch for a touchdown. Kelsey does Kelsey things. Isaiah Pacheco's doing okay on the ground. Jerick McKinnon, that's kind of a two-headed monster right now. Pacheco and McKinnon getting a lot of work done. And Mahomes is just slinging it all over the place and getting the job done, no matter who he's throwing to. So, yeah, Chiefs are looking good down the stretch. Obviously, they're probably on the collision course for the AFC Championship game, barring anything crazy. But that's not really what the podcast is about. So
a few great games on Saturday, one of them being the Giants and Vikings. The Vikings do it again. They are now 11-0 in one-score games.
Yeah, I mean, it puts a lot of pressure on the team, and they're not crumbling under that pressure. Justin Jefferson doing amazing things. It's just amazing to watch him play. And Kirk Cousins still getting him the ball, but TJ Hawkinson is making a huge difference in that offense. He is definitely taking over the Adam Thielen role, and getting a lot of that extra work. I believe since Hawkinson got traded there, Jefferson has a 30% target share and Hawkinson has a 25% target share.
And
then I
Thielen is
believe
just
Thielen,
gone.
he's like 12%. So he's
I
kind
think
of
he's just a
taking that.
red zone target.
Yeah, pretty much. And Hawkinson's getting red zone looks. He's getting, in between the numbers looks. He's looking good. That's going to be someone that people are going to look forward to next year and see how that can, the tight end landscape. And he's been coming on for the last few weeks, and Kirky is looking for him and Jefferson and those two only.
I believe Hawkinson's the number
30,
2 overall
30
tight end.
plus playing next year.
No. Right now, I believe he's number 2.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's still by a wide margin, but
Bengals hold on to beat the Patriots, even though the Patriots almost ended it. They just barely held on.
Yeah. Unlike the Patriots, who could not hold on to the ball. Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah, Bengals were up 22-0, and the Patriots came marching all the way back. Bengals are another one of those hot teams that are getting healthy and trying to make a run down the stretch and try to get back to the Super Bowl. Jamar Chase is healthy. T. Higgins. They got a decent 1-2 punch in the running backs. If they need to give Joe Mixon a spell, Samaje Perine done a fantastic job, and Joe Burrow's doing a hell of a job this year. And the defense is coming alive too. Can't be giving away those games like that. And they got away with one, but they should walk away easily in the AFC North. And then, hopefully, they're probably going to meet the Bills or the Chiefs in the second round of the playoffs. So that's going to be one to look forward to as well.
2 boring games just to touch on briefly. The Texans do beat the Titans. That was one of my most predictable things to happen. I don't know if I bet on it with our bets or not, but I totally did expect the Texans to beat the Titans. I personally bet on it. Henry does get the touchdown on 126 yards on the ground. He does come out with a hip injury. He has been limited in practice to start the week. We'll see how that goes. I expect tomorrow will tell. Obviously, it's Thursday night with the Cowboys for the Titans. It all depends on if the Titans want to push it to still try to get that playoff spot or not. But like you said, the game on Thursday doesn't matter. It's all about the next week. So they'll probably sit a lot of starters.
Yeah.
And the Ravens
or at
take
least
care of business
rest
against
them up a
Falcons.
little bit. Yeah. At least rest them up a little bit.
So Ravens take care of business against the Falcons. It was a very boring game. Nothing really happened.
No, not too much in that game.
It was Huntley's final start probably for the year. Maybe.
No, I don't think they bring back Lamar this year.
Why not? You're going to the postseason.
Are they? I guess they're right in the contention, yeah. So, yeah. Okay.
49ers wall up the Commanders. They really didn't do much in the first half, but the second half they came out firing. George Kittle with the touchdown. Purdy's looking good.
Yeah, I think Kittle caught 2 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken,
I
and
don't
that's back to
remember.
back weeks. That's back to back weeks of 2 touchdowns for Kittle. Um, yeah, 49ers, they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. Um, it would be absolutely insane to like, they haven't skipped a beat, whether it was Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo and now Brock Purdy. Um, Maybe just Shanahan can coach some quarterbacks, and you know, as long as they have minimal um, flaws, they can kind of get it done. I mean, you can give away the ball a little bit, but he can get away with a lot of stuff when you have the great playmakers. And Deebo Samuel should be back soon, and George Kittle's doing well, and you have Christian McCaffrey and Brandon Ayuk. So yeah, they're just, and their defense is rolling too. They're a scary team to look forward to watch.
Great game down in Dallas. The Cowboys take care of business against the Eagles, narrowly avoiding defeat. That was a huge game for the Cowboys because it keeps them alive in the divisional race and the first round bye. Huge day for all offensive players.
Yeah, don't remind me of that game. I'm mad at that game.
All right. Steelers beat the Raiders in a very Steelers winning game. It was a Franco Harris celebration as his number was retired, and Mike Tomlin just knows how to coach a team. My God.
Yeah, that's on the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception as well. And sadly, Franco Harris just passed away last week. So kind of a lot of feelings in that game. The Immaculate Reception, Raiders Steelers, big rivalry, Christmas Eve, um, Sunday night, or Saturday night football. So um, sadly, didn't watch any of it. Didn't watch a whole lot. I watched a lot of football in the morning window, not a lot in the afternoon. But one game I didn't really have a lot of interest in.
The Packers beat the Dolphins. Excuse me. I really didn't see that coming. The Dolphins really needed that win to keep pace in the wild card race, and they couldn't do it. Tua finds himself back in concussion protocol randomly. They have no clue what hit it was. Um, but as you do remember earlier in the season, there was a lot of drama surrounding Tua's concussion issues. So that's something to monitor. But I don't think I don't think either of us in the championship game has Tua, and I don't even know who has Tua. So it likely doesn't matter for our league.
Yeah, not a big deal. Drew has Tua, not a big issue.
It'll be an issue for Waddle and Hill, which neither of the teams in the championship game have them either. Myles Gaskin was also put on IR this week. He'll be an unrestricted free agent going into next year. So he'll latch on with the running back needy team.
Yeah.
Probably the next Los Angeles Ram. Speaking of the Rams, they scored 17 points in like the first 5 minutes against the Broncos. Every time Russell Wilson dropped back to throw a pass, it was like it was contested and it was probably an interception almost every time.
That was,
I think Mayfield's like 2-1 now in his 3 starts.
yeah, because he lost to the Packers. So, yeah,
Just a
the 2-1.
shellacking. I watched some of
Yeah,
it just because it's fun to drink Broncos tears.
that's true. And the big news of the day is, the day after that, the Christmas miracle of Nathaniel Hackett getting fired should have been done 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. I mean, the writing was on the wall, halfway through the season, and they finally got it done. Got the interim coach. You'll get a little reboot, and see how that goes. But yeah, just a shellacking by the Rams, which made a huge difference in one of the games that we'll talk about. I couldn't believe he ended up pulling the game out.
The Buccaneers find a way to win, stay on pace to win the division just narrowly against the Trace McSorley led Arizona Cardinals. The fighting Trace McSorleys couldn't get the
I was
job
waiting
done.
for that. I was waiting for that.
James Conner with a nice day. Greg Dortch with a nice day. Tom did just enough. I don't get it. The NFC South is just horrible. It's a collection of horrible teams, but Tom still has a chance to contend once playoff time hits. So there's that.
Yeah. Craziest stat line of that. DeAndre Hopkins caught 1 catch for 4 yards on 10 targets. Absolutely incredible stat line. Just absolutely weird. Just let that
That's
sink in.
That is some Joey Gallo stuff right there. For any of you who play fantasy baseball, you understand what that means.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. 1 for 4 on 10 targets. I don't know that I've ever seen that before. Probably not.
Yeah.
You don't want to see
Crazy.
that. Chargers lull to sleep the Colts. Justin Herbert clinches the playoffs for the first times in the Herbert era. Eckler gets in the end zone and puts the knife in Zach's coffin.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
I'm just good with words, man. I don't know what to tell you.
No, I mean, if we're gonna get to the matches that matter, like
we are getting to the matches that matter. Do you have a rant?
Oh man. Oh, just a little.
Go ahead. Let it out. Go ahead and break down your matchup. Let it out.
No, it's not. No, it's not about the matchup. Dalton messaged me on Monday saying, "Yeah, it'd be awesome to do the podcast during the game. Have a good sweat for the game. See if I can hold on by 60 points and see if you can hold on to a 17-point lead. Those two things are completely different. Like 17 points with 3 guys to go. The nail was in the coffin on Saturday afternoon.
So you didn't want me to give you hope? Is that what you're telling me?
No, there was no hope. Eckler, even then, I said I wanted a 35 to 35 point lead going into Monday night, which Eckler would have taken 24 of that away, and I still would have lost. Because Moss and Pittman both combined for 16. I still would have lost up 35. And 35 would have given me a little hope. 17 with one of the best top 2 running backs in the game was not even a chance. I was down at halftime, which I conceded at halftime after Brinkman took the lead. Congratulations, Stuart.
I stayed up and watched that game until he took a 2-point lead or more than 2 points because there's still chance for fumble. So as soon as it was 3 points, I was like, all right, good job, Zach. That was a good year.
Yeah, it was. Good year for me. Being in the top 4 still, I can try for 3rd place next week, which is the story of my entire fantasy season. Next week is 3rd place. Just a kind of an okay game for me. 125 doesn't get a whole lot done. McCaffrey down week. Not a lot of touchdowns on my end as well. I was able to stream Gardner Minshew and save that at least.
Get some success there. Yep.
Yeah, Pacheco, not a great game. ETN, not fantastic. I don't think anybody caught a touchdown, honestly. I think McCaffrey was the only touchdown. Kelsey had, his standard 20 points. AJ Brown had a decent game and no touchdowns. Christian Kirk.
They were double covering AJ Brown, and he was pretty bottled up in that game. I don't know if you saw any of it, but there was a reason why Devontae Smith scored 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, it was tight. It was a bummer, but Brinkman put up a hell of a game and, put up 145, didn't really even make it close. So good for him. Congrats to get back to that title game, after 8 years. So good for him. I think it's going to be great because the championship game is going to have 2 things, could be 2 firsts. If Brinkman wins, Brinkman will be the first ever to go from the toilet seat to the Succop Cup. That would be amazing. Or Dalton, our defending champion, to go back to back. Never been done.
And from the 8 seed.
And from the 8 seed. So that would knock out 2 things. Like, an 8 seed, that'd be their first ever win in the title game. First ever time they've been to the title game on. So, and then to go back to back, that trophy could stay right there over your left shoulder.
I made the mistake and I touched it before we started this. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I told you, I texted you and said I didn't even want to look at it before the end of the week. But
yeah, that is something that's going to be interesting to go with. But go ahead and break down your matchup if you want. I'm sorry, Cole. We'll meet you in the 3rd place game.
So we've got 7 minutes left before this gets cut off. So first, I want to touch on the Toilet Bowl participants. Just like last year, the week before, the week 15 scores didn't affect anything. So it will be Blaster versus Patrick for the toilet seat.
And actually, Lean got lucky that he got 16 points from Matt Gay to stay out of the Toilet Bowl game. Patrick had a hell of a week 16. And Matt Gay getting those 16 points, 1 50-yard field goal short Lean loses and is back in the toilet bowl.
But Lean had that 14-point lead going in, remember? Or did you already factor that in?
That was already factored in.
Oh, really? You added it before the matchup started or what?
Yep, I added it before the matchup.
Oh shit, I didn't even realize that.
Yep, I added it on Tuesday
How does
morning.
that calculate?
It doesn't calculate on the app. It only calculates on the webpage.
Where does it show it on the webpage?
The very beginning, like their very first points. Like
I see it. I see it on the graph.
It gives them a jump immediately on Tuesday.
I didn't realize. Oh yeah, I see the graph. Yep.
So
Because if
Lean
you look at
almost
Blaster and Dark Horses.
Yep. Yeah, Lean barely won.
Okay.
Lean barely won.
Basically, my whole life in this game came down to the afternoon of Saturday. The morning of Saturday, Cole got 67 points, 69 points, something like that from his first 5 players. So I was like, oh man, I'm in really good shape. I could actually do this. And then the Dallas game happened, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do this. I was at like 119 points with my first 5 players.
Yeah, you hit. I mean, Dak was fine. Lamb was fantastic.
I think Dak was the number 1 quarterback this week.
And then Zeke had a solid outing as well. So I mean, you got 4 pieces from that game that just went bonkers.
Yep, the Devontae Smith the last touchdown to Devontae Smith, I almost cried. It was so exciting, and then the game-winning touchdown to CeeDee Lamb, and that was all she wrote.
Both of those made me cry, and I'll tell you why later.
Okay.
Are we gonna have to do a quick second part too?
What do you mean?
Are we gonna have enough time?
We have 4.5 minutes. I do believe we can get through the bets because that is all she wrote on the matchups that matter. Next week, it will be myself versus Stuart Brinkman, like we talked about. I'm a combination of emotional about it and trying to be humble and realize that I am 1 week away from maybe this not moving and adding another jersey in the background. And that is very stressful.
That's dope. Like a little side tangent, but if you do that and you become the third 2-time champion, but you can hold it over Sackett and I's head because you went back to back, which is awesome. Go Brinkman.
I've already come to grips with the fact that I've already exercised those demons. If I have to give this trophy over to Brinkman, so be it. If I get to keep it, so be it. I'm just going to play my best team and hope it works.
Yep.
Okay. Quickly on the bets, we both hit our lock of the week, I believe.
I have not gone through anything of that. We should probably go quickly because I need to look real fast. And I believe it's your bets this week.
No, it's yours.
Okay. Well, how much time do we got?
3 minutes.
Okay. What is your lock of the week? Just go ahead.
I'm pulling it up now. Really wasting
we're gonna go fast.
Valuable time.
I know.
That's all right. I won't even write it down. I'll just try to memorize it.
And I can go back and watch real
these
fast.
spreads this week are horrible.
Yes, they are.
I will take Miami plus 2.5. Just
Miami
shooting
plus
it
2.5. Okay, I will take Bears plus 6.
Okay. What's your first bet?
All right, let's go quickly. Falcons are 3.5-point favorites against the Cardinals at home.
I want the Cardinals.
Okay, I'll take the Falcons. My next one, I will take Tampa Bay -3 against Carolina.
Oh God, that is so horrible. Fine.
I know.
Give me the
Carolina.
Panthers.
Okay. And let's go. Jets are 2-point favorites on the road at Seattle. 2-point favorites.
I want the Jets.
Okay, I'll take Seattle. Boom.
Okay.
Quickly done.
Yep. We'll give this a listen back to figure out what all we picked.
Yep.
But
How
first,
much time we got?
We have a minute and 29 seconds. We both
Okay.
got our locks of the week last week. You took the Bengals -3.5. They won by 4, and I took the Texans +7. So I was right. I did say that was my lock of the week, and it hit. The next one was Chiefs -9.5, which I did hit. And then we've got 49ers -7. That was you. And then did you hit the Steelers? No, I actually hit it because the Raiders covered the 3 because it was a 3-point. That was a bad week for you.
Oh well.
We have less than a minute left. What do you want to add?
So that Devontae Smith and CeeDee Lamb, both 2 touchdowns, cost me a chance at the Super Bracket Championship game. I lost by 10 points. He had CeeDee Lamb and Devontae Smith.
Oh no!
I put up 150.6. He put up 160. We lose by 10 points flat. Those 2 touchdowns at the very end cost us the game. But I mean, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And we had a shot at it. We'll play for 3rd place. But it would have been nice to play in that $10,000 championship game. But I mean, one of those touchdowns we could have got away with, but both of them, sayonara, see you later. We almost came back. We had Dulcich, Tyreek Hill, and Lenny Fournette on Sunday. And